Hello.
Hey there, how's it going?
Hey there. I'm doing good. What kind of games would you like? Like games where I won or I like suck?
Whatever you would prefer to look at, it doesn't really matter.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Wait, I'm
I,
gonna check.
I think that probably the best examples are ones where maybe you feel like you played pretty well, but the game was hard. If any of,
Okay. Got it. Wait, I'm gonna check my replay.
just because sometimes you just get out drafted and the game's way harder than it needs to be, just because of the draft.
Exactly.
But other times it's like you feel like you played well, but you're not sure why you lost, and those ones a lot of the time have a lot of good learning opportunities.
I've been in a very bad slump for the past month. Like suck so much.
And are you doing
Uh,
anything in particular to try and get out of it, or like are you not sure why
like
you're losing, or what do you think?
I think like it's more of like once you start losing, you're thinking like one more game.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I sent the match ID here in
Okay,
Discord. I think this game is.
cool. And who are you in this one?
Invoker.
Level 25 Invoker.
I
All right.
I got a lot of games played. Well, ever since Dota 1, like I've really liked him.
Cool. Well,
So when I got back, started playing him again.
for sure. I've played 0 games of Invoker since Dota 1. So, I will do my best to I mean, decision making and that sort of stuff
Sure,
goes across everything. I might not be able to catch all of the like, oh, you could have used this spell here or this spell here, but
definitely.
we'll see. So we just look at the scoreboard. Oh, let me share my screen so you can actually see what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. So how do I? Oh, yeah, here.
Let me know when you can see it.
I can see it already.
Okay, cool. So if we're just looking at this, we have, let's see, this is a 33-minute game.
We lost this game.
You went 8-5-4. You're up against a Pudge, Disruptor, Anti-Mage, Wind Ranger, Marana. Looks like they ended up kind of with like 4 cores almost.
Yeah, welcome to C server.
Was it? Yes, probably mid Marana, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So obviously the first thing to notice is just the fact that this Anti-Mage has like 300 more CS than anybody else in the game.
Yes.
And that, I mean, that's definitely something that probably shouldn't be happening if the game is even. So we'll look into it and see why this guy has such a huge net worth advantage over everybody else. But my first thought is that you're really gonna like items like Lincoln Sphere, like
Yeah.
yeah, Lincoln seems actually very good this game, and
I think
Lincoln's
I was going to go BKB
yeah,
for this game.
BKB also very good. I think potentially you could even look to get both, but obviously you need to have more farm to be able to do so. So
Yeah.
but I mean, it looks like you were doing pretty well up until about like the 25-minute mark, and that's when things started to go bad. So we'll definitely focus on that, and that's about when Anti-Mage started taking off as well. So let's just hop into it and see what we see. Are you pretty confident in the lanes, or I mean, I guess how many games is level 25, by the way? Is that like 500 games or something like that?
no. Less than 500. Like, but basically for my account, like I have had 800 games played using Invoker,
Okay.
and then like maybe around 300 games maybe
Okay, cool.
or less.
Prepare for battle.
Yeah,
Why did I think I pressed something like the screen has two. Like I can see a photo here.
see a photo. What do you mean?
No, like how do you describe it? Like the screen became two.
Okay.
Then I can see a Discord icon on the right side of my screen. Should have it. Can I like leave the call and call again?
Yeah,
I
sure.
think I
That's
pressed
fine.
something. Okay. Hello.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Good already. I think I pressed something.
Back to normal.
Yeah, back to normal.
Okay. Cool. So, all right, laning stage is about to start. They give you a ward, which is nice. Your starting items look fine. One thing to notice is that based on your, is this a carry? Who's your safe laner?
Yeah, this game is like somebody randomed and then the carry ended up being the spirit breaker, so the support volunteered himself to be the carry. So basically it's a from the start it's a fucked up game already.
Okay, so you have a safe lane spirit breaker.
Yeah. Supposed to be.
Okay. Well, that might be part of the
Pretty
problem. But
yeah, that's a pretty common problem in the C server.
okay, well, no worries. I mean, you know, Spirit Breaker, he's pretty good against most of their heroes. I think it's something you could maybe work with, but it definitely means that there's a lot of pressure on you to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
But I mean, your block looks good. His block was also decent. Kind of aggro pull to get the lane near you. That, I mean, I feel like you probably could have gotten that CS. You definitely definitely don't want to give up this range creep.
Yeah. So like, should I aggro pull every single time? Not necessarily.
No. So I think that the aggro pull here was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the big things is that like if you were to aggro pull and the wave was like here and you pulled it into your tower, then that would not be good, right? Because then the wave is
definitely. Yeah.
But you know, the wave met basically in the middle of the river, so pulling it a little bit more to your side allows you to stand on high ground while he has to be in the river to last hit. So that's definitely good. With that being said, you definitely don't want to be giving up CS like that.
Yeah.
And so one thing that is really important to note when you're playing ranged against range is that every single attack has a projectile, right?
Yeah.
And it takes time for the projectile to hit the creep. So if you're standing at max range trying to last it in a range on range matchup, then whoever has the fastest projectile is going to win that.
Yeah.
So, you know, as you see this one getting low, you might as well just step down to like right here, and then you can last hit with much shorter projectile time. And it basically
which would land earlier.
Yeah, it basically makes you a melee hero for one attack. And that would allow you to get that. And then as far as this range creep, like the first 2 or 3 range creeps are super important because it can give you like a 1 or 2 level advantage if you're able to get yours and deny the other team. You know, in this case, you have Sunstrike. You could Sunstrike this range creep if you don't want to walk over there.
Yeah.
Or you can just, I mean, you have 2 tangos and a salve, and you've got 2 iron branches, so you actually have quite a bit of regen. It's totally acceptable to trade like 150 health just to get this.
Just for the first 2 or 3 range creeps.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so even if you're up here and he's just right-clicking you the whole time, and you have to use a tango to get this range creep, totally fine. So I would just make sure that you're getting that. You know, you get the deny. He does not deny yours, so you end up getting the experience lead. But it would be nice to get that extra bit of gold. And you know, he's got 3 CS. You have 1 and 1. And I don't think this is necessarily like if you look at the base damages, you're.
I have more.
You have more because of the exort Quas. And because you're going exort Quas, another thing to recognize is that you are going to win the regen battle no matter what. Because Quas,
exactly. Yeah.
Quas gives you so much regen. So, you know, don't be afraid to take some harass to get the creeps, and also don't be afraid to just harass him. Like anytime you have the ability to, you know, if he's down in the river, or he's about to go for a range creep, for example, like right here, you could just cold snap him and then just start trading with him. Even if you have to tank these creeps a little bit, if you can make it so he doesn't get this and you're able to get this, it's going to be really important.
Okay.
Because remember, like
Because he got, yeah.
you still have so much regen and you have the colossus points that you can always regen with. The Marana, meanwhile, only has one Tango and a Fairy Fire, and it looks like he's bringing out a Salve, but still, you're going to be winning this regen battle, so don't be afraid to just constantly trade with them.
Okay. Oh yeah, I never thought about that. Like the first few range creeps.
Yeah, I mean, it's the difference between you getting to like level
2, level 3.
before they get there.
Yeah.
And
important.
so, in an Invoker Marana matchup, it might not be that big of a deal. But, if you're playing something like a Queen of Pain, it can be the difference between getting killed and getting killed.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, if you're Storm Spirit and you're level 6 and the other hero is level
Just
5, then it's a big deal. If you're level 5 and they're level 6, then you're really in trouble most of the time. So, those first few range creeps are really important.
Okay.
But anyway, so we'll just kind of speed through this a little bit. I mean, you're missing some CS, but that, it's bound to happen. Nobody gets every single creep. But you can always, focus on that more. So this is kind of interesting. Let's actually go back and look at what happens here. So he's shoving. This is another thing that we see a lot in the current meta in the mid lane, is that if you can get a double wave, then you can dive the person under tower. So the fact that he has all these creeps, you're going to have to tank these creeps. He's going to be able to just right-click you, basically, until he gets too close to the tower. Do you know how tower aggro works, by the way?
Yeah. I think so. Can you explain it to me briefly?
Yeah. So basically, the tower is going to attack whatever unit is like closest to it and attacking.
Okay.
A friendly unit. I forget the exact wording. We actually have a video on how tower aggro works.
Okay, I'll just check it out later.
Yeah, I can send it to you after. But essentially, the tower is going to attack whatever is closest to it and attacking you or your friendly creeps. But then, if something is within a 500 range, it's
okay.
So about right here where my cursor is.
Yes.
About this range. If something is attacking a hero, it will switch aggro to whatever is attacking the hero if it's within 500 range. So it actually prioritizes protecting heroes above creeps. So if this Murano was attacking a creep right here, and the Murano is standing right here, the tower would not switch. But if the Murano is standing right here and it attacks you, it'll stop hitting this creep and it'll start hitting the Murano.
Okay. Okay, got it.
So, that's a good arrow by him. He times you moving that way. You get arrowed. You end up tanking the creeps. Luckily, you're on Quas, so you don't end up going down here. You have a decent amount of regen and health. But you can see how we can actually look at that, the creep.
Yeah, the tower immediately attacked him the moment.
Yeah. So he arrows you right here. And then as soon as he steps to right here and he attacks, now the tower starts hitting him. So you see how it switches like that?
Yeah. Got it.
So, I mean, good reaction there, getting the cold snap. Bringing up the Forged Spirit, and you're able to survive. But now we can look at, okay, so he has just a salve left. You have a salve and a wand, and a tango left. So even though he got you pretty low, you have way more regen than him now. So you can probably look to play pretty aggressive going forward here in this lane. Which you get a good cold snap. So now, like, he's 50% HP, or even lower, 30% HP. And he has no regen. So right here, I would just be looking to right click him.
Yeah, because the tower aggro still.
Because, well, you can attack from outside of the tower aggro, but also just because, I mean, obviously you want to go for these denies, but if he's close enough to be attacking and he has like no HP, it's actually probably better to just harass him out of lane than it is to get this deny. So
okay.
you know, you get the deny, which is even better. So if you can harass him and then deny, that's even better. But you're going to make it really hard for him to last it, even though he has a creep wave and a tower advantage. If you're just right clicking him right now, he's going to have to decide: am I going to risk dying, or am I going to get this last hit?
Last hit.
And so maybe if you attack him 2 more times, he takes another 150 damage or so based on your damage output. He's down to like 200 health. That's very close to being in kill range if you were to just cold snap him, which is coming up in 7 seconds. So his health bar might be about here. He's going to start being worried about dying.
Yeah.
He's definitely not going to go for this range creep because he's so low. But because he's about 300 HP, he feels a little bit more comfortable coming up here. And again, you could even just be running up here and attacking him just because he's so low. And he doesn't have any more regen. The courier's still going back to base. So if you get him down to about 100 HP, he's going to have to just walk back to the base. You know,
Okay.
The shrines are not up. He doesn't have a bottle. He's going to literally have to just walk all the way back to the fountain, which is going to give you a free lane. You're already a level ahead of him. Or not really a level, but you hit 4 before he does. But by the time he gets back to base, you're going to be like level 5. He's going to be, potentially still level 3.
Barely 4. Yeah.
And then you can really start snowballing the lane. But, you're kind of just letting him have these CS when he's very, very low. And
it should be more aggressive. And
if you're more aggressive here, like, even if you're here, like right here.
Yeah.
If you attack him, the creeps are going to aggro to you. The tower will not. But
it'll be worth it.
It's probably still worth it because you're going to get like 2 or 3 more last hits. Maybe you even force him to leap, and then you can run back and just sunstrike him as he's trying to run back to base.
Yeah.
But it's actually almost better not even to get a kill. If you can get him down to like 100 HP and he has to walk all the way back to base, that's almost better than killing him because it actually takes more time.
More time.
So that would be one way to really kind of snowball this lane. You can see that he's kind of owning you in CS right now. He's doubling you as far as amount of last hits. And another thing that'll do is if he's very low and he's having a hard time, let's say that you were able to force him back to the fountain and then he ends up being like 2 levels below you, then of course you can get even more aggressive on him. And then he's going to be like, yelling at his teammates, guys, I need help mid, Pudge come mid, or Disruptor come mid, I need help mid. And what does that do for your other lanes?
Right. Give more space for them.
Exactly. So, if you're 2 levels ahead of the Mirana and he asks for his supports to come mid, so Disruptor, let's say both of them come mid. Best case scenario, Disruptor and Pudge both come mid. Now you have 2 supports splitting experience with a Mirana who's already 2 levels below you. And you're giving both of your other lanes a matchup where they don't have to deal with the support, right? So you then have an Undying and a Phoenix against just an Anti-Mage. And you have a Vengeful Spirit and a Spirit Breaker against just a Windrunner. So both of your other lanes are then able to be significantly more aggressive in those lanes. And even though you have 2 heroes here, you can't be super aggressive on the Mirana. But what you can do is you can just like meteor the wave and then go farm some jungle camps. Meanwhile, they have 2 supports just sitting here leeching experience and doing nothing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So it's kind of interesting how such a small little thing like that can completely
exactly.
the entire game.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of fast forward through. I want to start looking at like some deaths, see where you die, if you do. Yeah, going for Meteor Cold Snap, that's a pretty rough kill on Mirana. Too much mobility to really make that happen.
I was planning to do the cold snap tornado, then sunstrike, then press the wrong button.
Gotcha.
Reflex.
There's a lot of buttons to press on Invoker.
Yeah.
But okay, so if we look at your other lane, you've got a level 6 Phoenix, level 6 Anti-Mage. This is really unfortunate that you just have a carry Spirit Breaker, but whatever. But I mean, you can see. I mean, this Mirana has basically abandoned this lane. You're way farther ahead in terms of your net worth now and your last hits. And as far as this game goes, your biggest issue, I mean, I guess it's kind of the anti-mage. Like, you want to keep up with the anti-mage, but at the same time, you know, this is a hero. Anti-mage is a hero that doesn't really come online until about 25-30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're a hero that can actually play pretty fast. I don't think that you do it this game. Just because,
Like, should I have like gank other lanes, or like
no.
stay
So,
that mid until the tower fell, and that's the time I roam?
yeah, I mean, I think, you know, a lot of it comes back to just the fact that you weren't playing that aggressive. Like, if you're playing more aggressive, you probably force this guy to lane more. Maybe you are able to hit the tower, take the tower earlier, and then you kind of take a lot of map control away from them, and you have access to the jungles where you can go start trying to, you know, kill the anti-mage while he's farming. But since that didn't happen, you still have the ability to get aggressive, but this is definitely a game where you don't really want to just be sitting back and looking for sunstrike kills, I don't think. Just because your team doesn't really have
A hard carry.
a hard carry.
Yeah.
You actually have like really insanely good early game and like early to mid game team fighting. I mean, you've got Tombstone, you have Phoenix Egg, you've got a bunch of stuns from Spirit Breaker and Vengeful Spirit. So you pretty much have like 4 early to mid game heroes and then an Invoker. And Invoker is not a hero that has to go late. You know,
Yeah.
even if you're going the Exort build instead of Quas Wex, you know, obviously Quas Wex is more aggressive because you can run around and ghost walk and find people. But even if you're going Exort, I think that you could probably be looking to get a little bit more aggressive and not really just sit in the mid lane for 25 minutes and try and out farm them, because that's probably not going to happen.
Because there's an advantage.
Yeah, I mean, some games, right? Some games, and in previous patches, Invoker was sort of like, you go Midas, you go Boots of Travel, and you basically split push for 35 minutes, and then you have like a million
everything already. Yeah.
But this isn't really a game where that kind of fits your team's play style, because sure, I mean, if the 4 of them are fighting, they're kind of making space for you, but I feel like Anti-Mage still out farms you, and their whole team just scales better than you in general. Like, Mirana Anti-Mage is going to out carry your team 100% of the time.
Okay.
So I would say that, yeah, because you have the ability to play faster, you should be looking to play faster. And when I say play faster, I mean, you know, like, shove out the creep wave, hop in Ghost Walk, see if you can go to the top lane, get a kill, start taking these towers. Try to take mid if you can, but, you know, if you have a strong timing, like, okay, you have Phoenix Egg, and Undying doesn't have Tombstone, but anytime that you have like Egg and Tombstone, you should be looking to kind of group up with them and just start pushing towers, because how do they contest that?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Like, they have no way, especially in the early game.
Yeah. And really, like, that's the thing, is the longer this game goes, the harder it gets for you, because Mirana is a hard counter to Phoenix because of the attack speed from Leap. And Anti-Mage is kind of a hard counter to you, just because of how the hero works.
Yeah.
So you guys definitely want to be winning this game earlier, and so that means that you might want to be going, you know, despite going despite
more
getting
aggressive.
Exort, you might want to be going for like Phase Spirit Vessel in this game or something like that, instead of like, you know, Phase Spirit Vessel Aghanims instead of you know,
Instead of the standard build.
instead of the standard build, because you definitely can win fights, and that's kind of the thing. There's like, you know what a flowchart is?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you have this, then do this. If you have this, then do this. If not, then do this, right? So you can kind of think about Dota games in that sense, where does my team have the ability to group up and win a team fight? If so, then do that. Is basically what it comes down to.
Okay.
Does my team have the ability to push a tower? If so, then do that. If not, then you look to farm, or you look to split push, or you look to get pickoffs. But really, the number one thing is you want to be starting to take towers as soon as possible, no matter what your lineup is.
Okay.
That's just like a number one principle of Dota, is that the faster that you take towers, the more towers that you take, the more map control you have, the more gold you have, the easier chance you have of winning the game. So, and against a hero that really wants to be farming on his own a lot, that can be super good against a hero like a Tinker or like an Anti-Mage, because just imagine if like at 12, 13 minutes, this tower's dead and this tower's dead. Now you have full access to his whole jungle.
The jungle.
And where's he going to go? I mean, he's going to go over here. He's going to go to this jungle. But then you know, basically, the Anti-Mage is in this area. You know exactly where he is, which means that you can then go gank there, or you can just continue to push like the tier 2, the tier 3, and try and force him to actually show up to a fight when he has no items.
Okay, got it. Sometimes when you're playing so much, like you will just like go on autopilot.
Oh, for sure. That happens all the time. Yeah, I mean, autopilot is the number one way to not gain MMR. Definitely the number one way to not gain MMR. And so here's another thing to actually think about. I don't know if you've watched any of our videos about like the jobs in Dota 2.
I did.
So, you know, there's various jobs that have to be done to actually win a game. And one of those jobs, is killing heroes. One of those jobs is split pushing. One of those jobs is de-pushing the other team. But one of the most important jobs is hitting towers and pushing towers. So if you look at your team, do you have any good tower pushers? Undying doesn't hit towers. Spiritbreaker does not hit towers. Phoenix does not hit towers. Vengeful Spirit, if it was a carry venge, could hit towers, but it's not a carry venge. So you're literally the only hero that's good at hitting towers.
So I should have had like.
So you can see, right? Your team just won a fight in the top lane. They just killed Anti-Mage, they killed Disruptor, and they ended up killing this Wind Ranger as well. So they win a fight. They get 3 kills.
They cannot.
And they do zero damage to the tower. Like literally no damage to the tower.
I should have like TP'd going there.
Well, I mean that's, you don't want to just TP to a fight after the fight just to push the tower.
But like before the fight happened, like when they're ganking up there already.
That's why I'm saying it's good to kind of, be the one that's trying to group up with your team when you have these power spikes like the egg and the tombstone. Because ultimately, here's another thing that a lot of people don't really understand, is like you don't just fight to get kills and gold. The reason that you take fights in Dota is because you want to take a fight to get an advantage to push afterward. And so right now your team is just fighting to fight because they really can't do anything after they win these fights. And it's actually worse because the uptime on your team's abilities is much worse than the Dire team because you have a fairly long cooldown Supernova, long cooldown Tombstone. And so once they take a fight and win it with those, they actually can't really do anything for the next like minute and a half to 2 minutes. Meanwhile, this team has like 100% uptime on basically all of their team fighting abilities, except for the Static Storm. But even that is a fairly low cooldown compared to yours. So you guys can win a fight, but like then you can't do anything for 2 minutes. And so you really have to take advantage of the fights that you win with your ultimates. Got it. So that's just a really important concept to grasp, I think, from this game.
Oh, oh
And
my god, I was just really staying at mid.
yeah, I mean, it's good. You got the mid tower. You got the mid tower 15 minutes. That's a decent time to
That's
take the mid
cool.
tower, but definitely could be better.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can see now, this other team they're kind of just like, all right, well, we need to get these people out of our side of the map, so they bring 4 to the top lane, which does allow you to take the mid tower.
Dire's structures are fortified.
But then it does definitely look kind of like you're autopiloting here because the fight's already over and
And
you're
that's
just kind of running up
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
You could have actually been hitting this tower this whole time.
Rather than running
Yeah,
top.
rather than just kind of like running top to a fight that's already
Wasted.
lost.
Yeah.
And the thing about pushing and putting map pressure is that you force the other team to respond to it, right? So if you were actually here hitting this tower and you maybe like meatballed or meteored the creep wave, then suddenly you don't even have to stay there. You just have 6 creeps hitting this tower. Then they're gonna have to bring the Mirana, the anti-mage, possibly even multiple heroes because people don't coordinate very well in pubs. So you might even see like
Yeah.
two or three heroes show up to farm this creep wave. Now you know exactly where 2 or 3 heroes are, which means that you can say,
You
okay,
can go to other lanes.
yeah, if there's 3 heroes mid, we can just immediately go top and take this tower, or we can go bottom and take this tower because they can't respond because they've already TP'd here or run here. And that's how you really kind of snowball an advantage through being able to push. So any questions so far? Is there anything that...
No. Nothing so far. Like I got like autopilot is really bad.
Yeah, definitely.
But I got what you said, like especially the one like I should have just hit the second tower rather than running top and the fight was already over.
Yep.
Like, it would have been better.
Yep. And so
And that they got denied and our tower got denied because of that.
yeah, and I mean, the deny, it's a big deal. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but
But for a game like this, like
it would
we
definitely
have to
definitely help
finish-
your team just because
Yeah.
nobody on your team farms very fast either.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
every bit of tower gold is really important. If we go to your player perspective, we look at where your ward coverage is. So now you have a lot of wards in this top part of the map. So this is very safe to farm up here. And I think that, let me look at actually the timings of these wards. This one's about to expire. This one, these 2 are about to expire. But you have a pretty deep ward here. And this is what you want to do. You take a tower, you ward up the area, and you kind of like extend your map control just by having the wards. So now your team owns like this part of the map, right?
Yeah.
Instead of this part of the map. You don't have any wards over here, and you don't have this tower. So basically, the other team kind of owns
Team
this,
has the
this
other
part of the map
control.
now. And that's fine. But you definitely want to make sure that you're playing and making plays around vision. So that is what you should be doing in this part of the map. But now that this tower is dead, you want to try to coordinate again. Can we take a fight around maybe this tower or this tower or this tower and then set up map control in that area afterwards? So you might want to be making the calls, or you can even, if your team's not buying the wards, you can even buy the wards. But basically, if it ever gets to a point where it's kind of like static, it usually means that you could be doing more. Anytime that it's just kind of like you have 5 heroes just hitting creeps on their side, 5 heroes on your side just hitting creeps. Some team, one of the teams, should be doing more to make things happen.
Okay.
Just because, pretty much at no point in a Dota game is the game completely even. So whether it's using a smoke, grabbing your Phoenix, grabbing your Undying, and smoking to the bottom lane, putting a ward up here, taking this tower, and then you suddenly have, if you take this tower and you get a ward up here, maybe a ward here, now where does
You
the
have the
anti-mage go to
control.
farm?
Yeah.
I guess he goes over here, but you already have wards over here, so now you can see
So
exactly
we would
where
know
he
where.
is. Yep.
Okay.
But that
That
also
makes sense.
comes back to, do you feel like you're strong enough to fight? Because if the answer is no,
That's another thing.
yeah, if the answer is no, then you shouldn't be. But I feel like based on your
I
heroes,
could have had like during during this time, like we could have had taken up like another fight or two more fights just to like push, especially the bottom tower.
yeah. And I mean, this tower is the hardest one to take. Just like this tower is the hardest one to take. And you'll often see in like professional games, you'll see the offlane towers completely ignored.
Yeah.
They'll just, but they, if that's the case, if they're not going to be pushing these towers at all, they'll definitely be pushing the tier 2s if they feel like they're strong enough to do so.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go back here. See how you ended up down here. You went for a kill. You got the kill on Marana, and then you rotate bottom. I like this. I mean, you got a kill advantage. Now you're gonna move and try to do something with that. Get another kill on the Fudge. Your team is pretty set up. Unfortunately, like this Phoenix is. You would really like this Phoenix to be grouping up with
To
you.
be with us.
Yeah, these two heroes are like your main team fight heroes.
Yeah.
And you'd really like them to be actually with you. And Bench gets static stormed. I don't really love chasing here. Like this tower could be getting hit. Right? You have a catapult. I feel like you should just be calling for your team. Just hit the
Rather
tower. Hit the
than
tower. Like, because killing this
chasing.
and
it's just a disruptor.
It's a disruptor who already has used static storm, so he doesn't do anything anymore, right? He actually does nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than chase a useless support.
Right. And if you look at where your positioning is, right, you're now in between their two towers.
Two towers.
And there's a shrine.
And they don't have vision.
Yeah, so there's 3 places for them to TP in around you, basically. And there's only 3 heroes here. You know that you have 2 heroes in the jungle. So
yeah,
at the very most, you can have 3 heroes at this fight. Yes, you've killed 2 of them,
anything.
but they're respawning, and they know, because their Wind Ranger was over here. The Wind Ranger knows that the Undying and the Phoenix are over here. So the other team has full information of where all of your heroes are, and that means that they're going to be able to just like bring 5 heroes to this fight and kill you all, which is, I assume, what they do. Yeah. Yep. So again, you know, it's like everybody wants to get kills because it's fun, but the kills have to actually accomplish something.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And in that case, killing that disruptor accomplished negative because it puts you guys in a bad spot.
And the AM got
a bunch of gold.
The anti-mage.
Yep. And you didn't do any damage to this tower because the catapult dies. You know, if we actually go back to the moment that you guys decided to do this dive, you have a catapult here. Like, you could just alacrity the catapult and kill this tower. And then if you kill this tower and you let the disruptor get away, you actually get more gold from killing the tower than killing the disruptor. And
we didn't.
You don't have people TPing in behind you and sandwiching you between like 3 different TP spots.
Yeah.
Yep.
I never thought about it that way.
And you know, it's hard because obviously in this game you have 3 heroes that want to dive. Like Spearbreaker is a diving hero. Vengeful Spirit is a diving hero. Even Phoenix and Undying are diving heroes. So like that's kind of how you take fights. But if you just let them dive and you are here hitting this tower, then you don't put yourself in this bad spot. So even if they get caught out, at least you're alive, and at least you're not being surrounded. And if you see them in trouble, you can even still run up there and throw your spells to maybe help. But
Okay.
right now, you've got like 50% HP, you have no mana,
No,
so
have nothing.
you can't really do anything. And 900 gold to the anti-mage now. He's like basically got his Yasha complete
Yeah.
because of that.
Snowballing already.
So then you guys group up bottom. I think that this is good. You guys are strong. Looking to push a tier 2. I definitely think that this makes sense so far. I just continue to push. Like you see where they are. You know that they're pushing. I think that you guys probably push faster. Maybe not. They
Have Mirana.
they actually push pretty fast. But I think in this case, because you're here, because you're strong, it's probably okay to just go for this tower. But then, as soon as you TP out to defend this tower, your team no longer can take this tower because none of them can actually hit the tower. So your positioning in this game is the most important on the team by far, because you're the only one that can actually, finish objectives. And one important thing in pubs is like, there's going to be a lot of people doing really dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And it's your job to not give in to the dumb stuff. Like, I feel like if you just stayed here, you guys probably finished this, and you're still able to defend. Because they're not really farmed. He has a Dragon Lance. Pudge is not really hitting the tower. Wind Ranger doesn't really have any damage against the tower still. So, like, I still think that you guys can actually kill this tower faster than they can kill theirs.
Killed it before defending.
Yeah, you have Alacrity. You got Max Exort. So you could probably still kill this and then defend this. And then that becomes a very good trade, right? Because you're trading a tier 2 for nothing. So Tombstone is up. Swap is up. Egg is up. That's unfortunate. They have a ward here.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot you can do about that.
Yeah.
But you definitely want to just be encouraging your team to like be grouping up now, because you're still stronger than them. They still don't have a whole lot to deal with your egg tombstone combo. And that seems to just kind of be the theme of this game.
Yeah.
But if we look at your itemization, how come you went Blink Dagger? I know
I was thinking like the moment,
Invoker, but
like since there was like a Spirit Breaker that goes in, like the one that you said, wherein they dive, like my movement speed cannot match their diving power, so I was thinking once they set it up, I blink, then do the combo. Or was it worth it? Or I would have just like made a defensive item like a BKB or a Lincoln or a Yules.
I get the Blink Dagger. I definitely think it's a pretty decent item to have this game because of the reason that you stated. That being said, your spells have pretty long ranges. Like, just because they're diving, 600, 700 range ahead of you doesn't mean that you can't throw out a Tornado or a Sunstrike to contribute to the fight. Like, your cast ranges are pretty big on Invoker.
Okay.
Also,
you could have just
also based on the pace of the game, assuming that you were trying to actually take these fights around the egg
cooldowns
and the cooldown timing, and the fact that you're stronger at team fighting than them right now, I kind of feel like getting a BKB early makes you invincible. Like, how do they kill you if you have a BKB?
Oh yeah.
I don't think that they can. The only way that they can really kill you is like, let's say you use your BKB. Let's say they static storm
And
you. You use BKB to get out of static storm. Pudge comes over and dismembers you. Anti-Mage comes hit you. Mirana comes to hit you. And suddenly there's 4 heroes focusing you. I still don't know if you die because you're not taking any magic damage, right? And meanwhile,
yeah.
Tombstone is building up. Supernova's going off. You're getting a bunch of damage out from the Spearbreaker and Venge as well. So I think that having a BKB makes you essentially...
Would have been better.
Yeah, it makes you basically immortal for the next like 10 minutes, which is kind of when you want to be winning the game.
Okay.
And I do think that Blink is good in this game. It's just kind of a matter of whether you get your BKB first or your Blink first. And then you definitely want to Hex in this game as well. So
yeah,
maybe you go BKB Blink Hex or BKB Hex or Blink BKB Hex, but those are probably the items that you want to be looking for in this game, I think. But yeah, at this point, Anti-Mage has got an Ags. For Abyssal next.
Yeah, I think from this point on, like, we just got wrecked.
Yeah, like, I mean, you're grouping up to try and push top.
That was a wrong move.
Yeah, but just leading up to this moment, it does kind of seem like you're kind of still
desperate already.
Not desperate, but it does feel like you're still kind of thinking of yourself as like this basically like ganker assassin hero. Like you feel like it's kind of your job to just like jump in and blow somebody up. But really that's not your job. That's the Spearbreaker's job.
Oh,
Spearbreaker's the one who's jumping in to start the fight. You're not the one. You're the one who's up here hitting this tower. Your Spearbreaker charges in, bashes somebody, then you throw a Sunstrike and follow up after that. But your main job is to hit towers in the game. I think we already kind of established that.
Yeah.
So you should think of yourself as like a Shadow Fiend or like a Medusa or like a...
Like, since we don't have anyone that would hit the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Like a Drow Ranger. You know, your number one
priority
purpose in this game is to hit buildings. And then you can follow up in team fights based on initiations by the Vengeful Spirit, the Phoenix, and the Spearbreaker. But if you are ever jumping in first, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Because your team is... I mean, you're good at initiating, but your team is just as good, if not better, at initiating than you are, and they're less valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that's probably enough from this replay. But
yeah, but that's a good perspective, especially the one the one you said, especially in the early game, the first few range feats, and do not autopilot. Like, oh my god.
Yep. Do you want to do another replay? Do you have other questions? I mean, we still have another
Can we still have another one?
Yeah, we've got another 10-15 minutes to go through.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay,
so
okay.
If you have another replay, we can do that.
How about this one? So, again, that's fast. And wait, I think this one. Why isn't it? Sent it to you already.
Okay.
I'm also... It's an Invoker game, again.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, for, usually for this meta, for the current meta, usually mid is more of a 1v1 lane.
Yeah.
That's right. So, when would you go gank other lanes? would you gank when like you're winning your lane already, or would you gank to get kills because you're losing your lane? Or basically just go to help?
It really depends. It really depends on. I mean, one of the things that we talked about previously was that you don't really just want to be getting kills to get kills, right? You want to be getting kills
Yeah, for objectives.
for an actual purpose. So in this game, I mean, you're mid, you're against a TA. You know, there's certain mid heroes that will take your tower super fast if you leave the lane.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to leave the lane ever against them until you have a reason, like an actual reason to do so. You know, so like leaving the lane against the Shadow Fiend is hard because you can just clear the creep wave and then start hitting your tower with a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Leaving the lane against an Alchemist is not so bad because he doesn't push towers super fast.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to be shutting down the Alchemist, but if you had to go, if you could get
And
a kill
help.
and get an objective somewhere else, then it might be a little bit more acceptable to give Alchemist free farm for like 2 minutes if you're able to take, you know, a tower or two
And
somewhere else.
Kills.
But yeah, basically, the only reason that you would want to leave the lane is if you feel like you can get a significant amount of map control and shut down like multiple other heroes who are perhaps more important than the mid heroes game. Like if you're against a mid Mirana, for example, and they also have a Morphling or a Phantom Lancer, killing the Morphling and Phantom Lancer is probably more important than killing
more
the
beneficial.
Mirana,
Yeah.
right? So it's all about like kind of deciding what's worth more in the moment. Or you know, if you get a haste power rune, that's a fine time to go gank.
Yeah.
I like timing the ganks around power runes, especially. Another good time to go gank is at 5 minutes because if you go to the bottom
Or the
lane,
bounty.
then you can get both bounties, perhaps even get a tower if you take a good fight, and that those are like good moments to actually go try and do something. You know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And it's a little bit harder to make that distinction as a hero like an Invoker, just because like you're kind of like a hard carry to some extent. You're a very greedy, needs farm hero. So you want to be focusing a lot on getting farm. You don't want to be focusing nearly as much on ganking. You know, if you're a Queen of Pain, if you're like a Phantom Assassin, if you're one of these heroes, if you're a Clinks, you know, you get your gold by killing heroes. Then it makes more sense to be making rotations. But if you're a hero like an Invoker or an Alchemist or something like that, it makes a little bit less sense. If you're a hero like a TA, you don't really want to be leaving the mid lane until you have a Blink Dagger, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really all about kind of like figuring out what the specific timing is for any game. Could be different in every single game that you. So against the TA, it's a little bit harder to last hit just because fraction gives a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But you also have the ability to burn the refraction quite a bit.
Ice wall.
I mean, ice wall for sure. Even just using a Forge Spirit early, just like have your Forge
Just
Spirit.
to remove the.
Yeah, just spawn Forge Spirit and start attacking the TA with your Forge Spirit while you last it. The TA might start to trade with your Forge Spirit. You can micro it back so it doesn't die. You don't feed extra gold, but if you can trade a Forge Spirit for refraction charges every single time, that's probably worth the mana. Because I mean, I think that you probably win the mana regeneration battle, and once TA doesn't have refraction, you can just cold snap and kill her basically anytime you want. So I would definitely be, anytime she pops refraction, I would consider, you know, bringing out a Forge Spirit to just have it attack and get rid of those refraction charges. Okay, so let's actually look at this game because we haven't really. We have a safe lane sniper, Shadow Shaman against a Pugna, solo Pugna, a Lich, here, safe lane Alchemist, Phoenix. So this lane is, God, this lane is so greedy. You guys definitely have worse team fight than they do. They have much better team fight with like the Pugna, the Lich, and the Phoenix
And the
egg.
Phoenix.
But you guys are very good at ganking, getting pickoffs. Like your Ursa gets a Blink Dagger, your Shadow Shaman has a lot of disabled. Rubik is a good ganker, and then your sniper kind of plays that hero that sort of just like walks down a
That
lane
just
and
hits.
hits towers, and everybody else kind of plays around the sniper. So in this game, you might want to be playing a bit more of like a ganking role. I definitely think that going like the Spirit Vessel build in this game is really good.
The Quaswex.
Yeah, Quaswex actually could be. Does Quaswex does Tornado get rid of refraction? Does it dispel refraction?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Does not. Okay.
But usually, like if I do that, Quaswex, so that the cold snap the duration would be longer.
Right.
For the urn. So
yeah.
basically, it's a perma-stun for like 3-4 seconds.
Yeah, and also if you think about it, I mean, so Spirit Vessel really good against Pugna, really good against Alchemist, really good against Phoenix, even really good against TA, and then
to burn the.
Just, I mean, because it's continual ticking damage.
Yeah.
And then also, getting rid of the heal for these three heroes is really valuable. And then also the Tornado will dispel Decrepify. And having those early points in Wex will give you a bunch more attack speed to take care of the egg. So I don't know. I mean, Again, I'm not an expert Invoker player. Maybe this is fine. Maybe going Quas Exort is fine. But it does seem like a pretty good Quas Wex game. But even if you go Quas Exort, I definitely think that you could still go like Phase Boots Spirit Vessel as your first two items. That's something
rather than the standard.
I think we saw like Miracle, and I know that Top.
Yeah, I think it was him. And Topson, and Miracle. Both of them does the Facebook and Spirit Vessel.
Yeah, and I think both of them even go Spirit Vessel Phase Boots on Exort Invoker as well.
Yeah, they do also.
So it's just like Spirit Vessel is just such a good item on Invoker because it gives mana regeneration, movement speed, tankiness, and like you're a hero that gets a lot of kills. So it just works very well on this hero. You're beating TA and CS, so that's good. Seems to be playing very kind of carefully. Got good lane control. Got a 2-level advantage. So if you have a 2-level advantage, you might as well be again playing more aggressively. Like
staying on the other side already.
Yeah, I mean, what's this guy gonna do? If you're standing over here, is he pops refraction? He has 4 refraction charges. You just pop a Forge Spirit, you cold snap him, you burn through those refraction charges almost immediately, and then you're trading with him with a huge amount of base damage advantage. I feel like you can just completely bully him out of lane based on how well you started. I think this guy's a lot lower MMR than you. But
yeah, I think so.
Like sitting back at range allows him to just Psyblade when you don't really need to be allowing him to just Psyblade you, right?
Yeah.
So I think probably from both of these replays, just kind of realizing like when you can be more aggressive and trying to push that. You don't want to just be like diving towers at 4 minutes into the game, but you want to be zoning them off of the creeps if you possibly can. Okay, so they've got a tri lane down here. I mean, that's totally fine. You know, it's gonna make this guy's secure alchemist farm, but it's gonna make him very low level. It's also gonna make the Phoenix very low level, who needs levels.
Level 6.
You know, TA is already in the jungle. So if you see TA is gone, like TA is not contesting you, you definitely want to just start pushing these creeps as fast as possible. Like
Rather than last hitting.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to last it obviously, but you want to just start auto
Yeah, I
attacking
mean, like,
because
just to push the wave earlier.
yeah, you push the wave earlier, you get the creeps onto the tower, the TA has to come back instead of farming the jungle. You're able to get more damage on the tower. Bring 3 to the mid lane. Could be a dead lich. Good. I mean, so, you know, this is kind of what we wanted to have happen last game, right? Where you pressure it to the point where they have to bring the supports, and now it's like 2-on-1 here. And this right here, this Alchemist is super screwed because he's against an Ursa Rubik. Can't even get close to the creep wave. And you're like, whatever, man, I'm already 3 levels higher than this TA. What can this TA do? And the answer is nothing.
Should be aggressiveness, yeah. I'm gonna work on that.
But, you know, again, like, you could probably just meteor this.
Arias stayed and then push the lane since I have a catapult, right?
Yep, just meteor this, alacrity of the catapult, hit this as
What?
much as you can. You know, this lich is now back bottom, but you could bring that lich right back to the mid lane if you wanted to. If you were really pushing this hard, Phoenix would have to stay here. The lich would probably come up, try and defend, and then you can decide, well, maybe I should go bottom and kill the alchemist because he's alone.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yep, again, I mean, you could be right-clicking the tower there. The catapult ends up dying without doing a whole lot. And their supports are back to the lanes that they want to be in. Could be a dead TA. Yep.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So again, you know, just push the creeps. Like, there's no heroes in lane. So you might as well just push the creep wave onto the tower. DD. Come back and keep last hitting. Keep farming.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I should have just pushed the whole lane since I have DD already, right?
Yeah, it just kind of feels like you could be getting more out of a lot of
More,
these
yeah,
situations than you are. You know, like 350 damage has been done to this tower. I feel like it probably could be more like 5 or
Or
6,
more.
600 damage, maybe even more than that.
It could have been more gapped also.
Yeah, and like the sooner that this tower dies, the harder it is for TA to back and
Oh,
farm
yo.
ancients. And the sooner that you can rotate to the bottom lane and take this tower, and then Alchemist only has a couple of camps that he can farm after that. And I mean, it's just, again, it's like creating a snowball from having a very strong lane yourself.
I bought Earn on this game.
Oh, nice. Good Sunstrike kill. Yeah, that's another perfect thing. You should just be telling your Shadow Shaman. It looked like this was a full party game, so you
Yeah. I think this is with my friends.
communicating with your friends. I would just be telling
It'll be easier.
your Shadow Shaman, like, hey, just let me know. Just go shackle anybody and we'll kill them. Be like, say, you know, go grab a smoke and go kill Alk bottom. You'll have Sunstrike ready.
That's why I've been resting playing solo queue for a while. Like, I've been in a very bad slump in my solo for the past month.
Taking a little break and going for some party queue. Yep, I totally get that.
Thanks for playing Dota.
Like, I think it dropped by 500 MMR for the past month, I think.
Yeah,
around 500.
Sounds like me. Sounds like me.
Yeah, like I watched the video that you did wherein like the game where you rage quit, I think.
Yeah.
You sold your items and like,
Yeah.
sometimes I want to do that so bad.
Yeah, that was bad. That was something that hopefully I will never do again.
Yeah, so far I haven't done it, but yeah. But thank you for the input though. Like I learned a lot. Like
Awesome, man.
I'm gonna try and do it. Like uh yeah, I think our time's done already so that we can do other stuff, and it's
Yep.
also almost midnight here and I have patience tomorrow. Yeah.
All right, man.
So I'll try to work on it. And like, how much time do you think because I want to do another like session if it's okay with you. Like, I really want to improve more.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anytime
Like-
really. Just let me know when you would like to. I would say, take what we talked about, maybe play a handful of
Sure,
games
sure,
and
sure.
see how it feels, and then we can look at it and see what else we can kind of change and tweak.
Just by telling me like being more aggressive, like when I was looking at especially the second game, like I could have dominated this TA more if ever.
Right. Like, I mean, when you're 3 levels ahead of the other mid laner, they should basically never be able to even just think about hitting a creep.
Yeah.
So, nice. You did go Spirit Vessel. Good job.
Yeah, for the Alec.
Yep. And then I think another thing that we can look at in a future session is maybe like where you're spending your time, because it does seem like your last hits are always fairly low.
Yeah. I noticed like doesn't go up that much.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe some of that is just because you're not pushing the creep waves fast enough. Like, even when we were talking about pushing that creep wave fast on the towers, right? If you meteor the creep waves or you just auto attack them all, then they die 15 seconds faster, which means that's 15 more seconds that you can go
of
to
hitting
the
the
jungle
tower
and hit more creeps in the jungle. Then you can come back and farm another wave in 15 seconds faster, and suddenly that's 30 more seconds that you have to do other stuff. And if you're killing each creep wave like 10 or 15 seconds faster because you're just using spells on it or auto attacking the creeps,
it will be more efficient.
Yeah, then you have so much
much
more
more
time to get more farm.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that's why like when I play solo queue, I get trash talked so much because of my level 25 invoker. So like when I got wrecked at mid, like they're all flaming me like, oh,
Of course.
you bought that account, yeah, like
Yeah.
shit. But what's wrong? I just like this hero.
Well, you can always mute
anyway.
him. Don't let him get to you.
Yeah. That's true. Well, anyway, thanks, man. Thank you very much. I really learned a lot.
All right, man. Take care.
Okay, man.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. I'm gonna just message you like if ever.
All right. Take care.
Okay, man. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.